Well, that would have showered a shite, weren't it? Oh, right, where do you start? Right, teams. Let's do teams first. Right, this was Wednesday team. Wednesday unchanged. Stockdale at net, back three. Iofa, Ahekwe and McGuinness. Midfield, Palmer, Byers, Backinson, Bannon and Johnson. And up front, Gregory and Windass. And realistically, nobody's moaning about that before kick-off. If Darren Moore gets any abuse, it tends to be tinkering Darren Moore. So he's kept the same team that won 5-0 in last game. You can't really complain about that, can you? Not before game, anyhow. Barnsley lined up with a 3-5-2. Well, actually, it weren't a 3-5-2. The BBC saying it were. They'd got it as a sort of 3-4-1-2, but that weren't how it panned out at all. From what I saw, no. And it's a shame it weren't, because the way they did line up causes a heap load of problems for 90 bastard minute. Collins in net, back three, Cundy, Anderson and McCarthy. Midfield 4, Williams, Benson, Connell and Kitching. And up front, Cole and Aitchison, and then this Thomas character who was sort of given a free brief. He caused us some right bollocks all afternoon, him. Funny, I was talking to one of the lads at work on Friday and we were saying, derbies really derbies anymore. Do you know what I mean? We were talking, last few sort of derby games came in, but they're not really derby. They're just like every other game, how they play out, you know. And we were on about, you know, do you remember when derby games there were a certain criteria that were met, you know, like in opening 5 minutes you usually got one of these.
Midfield first. I wonder where the studs were showing then. I'm pretty sure they were by David Hurst.
Not saying you want anybody to get hurt, but that's the sort of thing that you used to see in a derby game. Last few I've seen. Anyway, Barnsley come, they'd got a game plan, they'd obviously looked at the way we play, and they really put us to the sword, in all honesty. We never got going. There's certain things, we just talked about it being a derby match. They were up for it, they were quick, sharp, 1 tackles, 1 headers, and we were very pedestrian. I blame some of that on Forest Green Rovers being so shit, because we never had to get out of second gear in that game, and I don't think that did us any favours, because we started this game in second gear and we never got out of it again, but for wrong reasons. These didn't allow us to. They were all over us, they were closing us down from front. As I said, they played a front 3 instead of that 2 that we were sort of probably expecting. And one of the real issues it causes there were Backinson, because he'd got nobody to pick up. Now, if you said that to a young kid who was just coming in, right, in this game today, son, you're going to be in an area pitch, probably not going to have anyone to pick up. Great. But it can cause its own problems, it causes its own confusion, because the lad looked like, for large parts of that game, that he didn't know where he were, or he didn't know where he should be. Midfield. I've been banging on about our midfield, how much quality we've got in there. We didn't show it today. We were second best. As I said, highlighted that thing with Backinson. Looked lost, didn't particularly have anyone to pick up, which I don't think helped him defensively. If you know he's my man, it gives you something to focus on, doesn't it? So he looked a bit lost there, frustrated. But we didn't really get it going forward, you know, and in an attacking sense we weren't much better either, because I've talked about the quality we've got in midfield, and we have gotten down to quality, but we didn't see it today. First half especially, our strikers have had nothing to feed off. No real quality to feed off at all. We played a nothing game week against Bradford, you know, and our forward passing wasn't brilliant. Lots of it getting cut out. And Alex Hunt and Volks took a bit of a pasting about it online, but equally as bad today, and these were first choice 3, if you know what I mean. Poor passing. Barnsley in first half looked like they got an extra man on pitch, and genuinely I had a little count, because it won't be the first time a referee's not bothered. Remember years back, they always used to check it with a big thing. Now you don't see them do it so much, and I thought, fucking hang on a minute. These Dingles trying it on here, but no, they were just quicker, sharper. First ball, win. Second ball, win. We didn't do that. We didn't really do it all afternoon. One of the key things that they were doing as well is they were driving. They were getting ball and they were driving up the pitch. We were trying to pass it up the pitch. That's great if your movement's good and quick and sharp and your passing is good and quick and sharp. But our movement were poor and our passing were poor. And when that happens, you're not going anywhere, are you? They weren't afraid to get ball. They got a lad in middle, Connell. Really impressed with him, actually. Loads of drive, snapping tackle, getting flying. You know, he's getting hold of a bit of shirt and he made it a bit of a niggle in there. I thought he were good. They brought a kid on it. I mean, he's looking not to get about 4 yellows, this Wolf kid. But he was saying, getting that foot in. First header, first tackle. It squirms away from him, second tackle. In. We didn't do that all afternoon. We didn't compete. Didn't drive. No pace, no tenacity. And we kept trying to pass. Oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong with passing football. I said these things and then I realised how it must sound. I'm a fucking dinosaur. But passing football is great. If you're passing it in right areas. Do you know what I mean? We've got this obsession these days. TV, I blame Sky and everything else. But stats, possession stats. Possession means nothing if you don't go anywhere with it. You can have 99% possession. If it's in your 18 fucking yard box, who fucking cares? Not me. I'd rather have 1% possession, it's in their box and it back in there. Now listen, we've got a way of playing, haven't we? We're going to play it out front back. And when it's successful, like against Forest Green, when you play against a passive team who don't put a tackle in, who don't want to try and win an header, and who'll just sit off you and let you play little triangles and don't track runners, great, pass your way through them. You can probably pass your way through them without having to be on your A game. When you've got a team that press, you're playing through it back, and they press 3 strikers right up against you. 1, 2, 3, all the way across. Sometimes you're going to have to bypass that. Sometimes you're going to have to, bit of a squeeze here. If I get ball out to that centre half, it's just coming back to goalkeeper. So do you know what? Let's take all 6 of them out of game. Of the fucking top. Sometimes you've got to do that. I mean, we ended up popping crap balls into front players anyway. By the time we had squeezed it through midfield somehow. Front 2 first half, Gregory and Windass, like them both, you know. Windass is lively, he's got a bit of pace, he can try and stretch behind. Not that they left much behind because the defenders were really good at dropping off when they could see Wednesday midfielders looking to angle a pass over. And Gregory's a good finisher, as a rule. It weren't sticking with him. So it's just like a chain reaction of crapness. We're trying to get it out front back, but they're squeezing us and not allowing us to. And when we do get it out, we're in trouble straight away. Midfield aren't giving any quality into forward players, and when it does actually get forward, it's not sticking and it's coming back. And that first half were really dreadful. It really were. And when, as I said, we try and pass out from back. That's the way we do things. And we're not going to throw baby out with dishwater. You know, we're not going to abandon that now. That's the way we've trained. That's the way we've built the squad to play that way. But when it's not working, remember that famous old Einstein quote? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, actually, that weren't Einstein. It's often attributed to him, but it was actually a female writer born in the 1940s called Rita Mae Brown. Yeah, so you've learnt something there today. But anyway, Einstein's probably got a better face for meme. And that were Wednesday today. Just kept doing it. Suicidal, some of it. Under it passes. There's nothing worse than under it passes. Always remember, who says, lads, ping your pass. And if it gets to other man and he can't control it, it's him who'll be getting looked at, not you. Never under it a pass. Ping. Really bad today. Really bad. So much stuff. Falling like 70%. Poor. Really frustrating to watch. Like I said, got to credit opposition. Their manager, Duff, I think it is. He spotted the issue. He spotted the way Wednesday play, and he's like, okay, let's get that Thomas. And he was a useful player, him, by the way. Bit of a niggly little chuff, but useful player. Let's not play him in hole. Let's just get him to drift out to the right hand side. And he played in a sort of a bastardised position. He were part third striker, and then he was like part drifting into hole, part inside right, and he causes a right headache all afternoon. We're drifting inside Johnson, and I'm sort of pulling him in. And when he pulled him in, they got the other lad, I think it was Williams, bombing on outside. They caused us all sorts of problems all afternoon. That first half it was really tough to watch. The goal. We've actually got 5 or 6 men back there against their 2, when they've got 2 and another man behind who's actually Cole. Now the ball takes a bit of a deflection off Johnson's heel, but then McGuinness and Johnson then are daydreaming. They're walking. It takes a little dink deflection. Cole's in. 1-0. Completely outnumbered, and they train against these situations. There's no way in the world they don't. They will do little drills where we're like, right, we'll have a 3v5 attack v defence, or a 4v5 attack v defence. They'll prep for all these, and that is just switched off, counting daisies, defending. Really poor, and it sort of summed up first half, really. Second half, we come out, they've had a bit of a bollocking. They must have had a bollocking. Something's been said, they might have bollocked each other, and I hope they have, because that's sometimes you need it to come from shop floor. Start brightly for 5 minutes, and then it's back to the same old. Stockdale, absolute suicide ball out, and that Thomas nips in. Like I said, live little. This time he's in hole where we were expecting him to play, but he's in quick and sharp. Kills a little float around, and it sort of hits joint up, post and bar, and that should have been 2-0. It really should have been. We should have been dead and buried. You're doing little bits, but it's still slack. It's still second gear. And when you're in second gear and you can't get into third, that's when you start forcing issues. So that's when you start not taking care with your passes. So you'll get in a decent position, and you won't have a touch and nudge it out and look up and then put a ball. You'll just nudge and knock it without even looking what you're doing. And so that was our delivery today. Although there was one moment of quality. Bannon gets the ball, clips it in, and Gregory, it's confidence to say, yeah, I don't want to take it down and then put it in, but in a game, he's got to edit. He's got to edit for me. It comes in, it's a decentish angle. I just think keeper's in a sort of average position. I think he puts it back across, so it comes in this way. You edit back that way, back across, goal. I think he probably scores, and I think that would probably our best chance at afternoon. But as it takes it on chest, which gives keeper time to come out, and it's comfortable. Poor. It's just a poor game. It's just bad. Just credit Barnsley, because, like I said, they were on it. They were stepping in front of men, getting on toes, winning headers, first ball, second ball. They got an intensity. Like I said, clearly done their homework. They knew how we were going to line up, and they squeezed us. They spread the front line out instead of playing with 2 and 1 at all. They got a lad at back, Anderson, I think it is. He looked quality. Strong down spine, them. Right down spine. Cole with an handful. That Thomas ran handful. In midfield they got Connell, really lively player. He put a right shift in. Then they got the centre half. The only one of their spine that I don't know how strong he is the goalkeeper, but I wouldn't know that because we didn't test the bastard. We actually make a couple of subs. Wilkes comes on, Martin comes on, and at first we go sort of 3-4-3 for about 2.5 minutes. So Wilkes is up there with sort of Martin dropped off, and Gregory's still up there. And then we mix it up again. We go to a flat back four, which made sense. I think they were probably, why didn't we do that at half time? Because first half, Backinson, he was in no man's land for most of the game. I'd have probably given him hook at break. And back four, I've got no problem with back four. Probably prefer the back four if I'm honest. So James goes to left back. Bit surprised McGuinness come off, because genuinely, he were only one at the back line today that didn't make me shit myself. So I'm a bit surprised he would want to get hook. I like Heckley, but he didn't have a great game today. Equally, I offer. He got on a few times, but there were no quality in passing really, and again defensively, on back foot too often wrong side at man. You know, luckily he's got that recovery pace, he can get back in, but a poor game front back line. So anyway, we've gone to a 4. We've got Martin on left, Wilkes on right, and we bring Smith in it on, you know, centre forward position. If you're going to play a big striker like that though, you've got to put crosses in. We didn't put crosses in. Palmer had like an half volley. Martin got one away after about 30 seconds, and that was it. Didn't really put any great crosses in. Probably the best 2 crosses of the game were when Barry Bannon drifted out wide. So we got to a centre forward, 4-4-2, 2 wingers, didn't put any delivery into the box. And then we end up with a midfield 2 of Byers and Bannon, who, in terms of physical presence, not really much there. Thought he might agree Gregory at hook, to be honest with you, and played Smith at centre forward and just got Martin and Wilkes round him and just said, right, wing backs, Palmer, James, whatever, ping it in, trying at him and try and get them 2 around him, just cut a bit of havoc. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes get it in the mixer. I don't know. Smith did get one good header in right at end. Probably the only genuine save their keeper had to make. I know he's had that save from Gregory when he took it on chest, but it's not really a save. It's, you know, it's at him, it's in his chest. It's not having to get about. So Smith gets an header in, and that is genuinely the only time their keeper's genuinely tested in game. Just a really poor afternoon. Credit Barnsley. I mean, at the end of the day, they've come down from division above, haven't they? So there is a bit of that, but. And then their second goal. I mean, they could have had 4 today, Barnsley. To be honest, they'll go away thinking that's a good result. You know, they got a point at Ipswich last week. But if I were them, genuinely, I'd be a bit disappointed it went 3 or 4, because the way they played, it quite easily could have been. You know. They make their subs. Kids goes with his first touch, doesn't he? Didn't like him, by the way. There was something about him, he got an attitude, you know. Bit of a battle chest, standard sleeve tattoo, and he just got that look of a smarmy southerner. So I didn't, what was his name? I wrote it down somewhere. No, anyway, not a fan of him, but scores, it's a great header, bullet header. It's a completely unmarked header. He's just come on. Oh, there's a bit of confusion, whatever. But if he goes on, whoever he's gone on for, presumably, whoever's been marking the lad who's gone off, then picks up whoever comes on. And if they're not, it needs communicating. You don't pick him up. But it's a centre forward for a centre forward. Norwood, that was him. Great header, but he's unmarked at beginning at move and he's unmarked at end at move. He just makes a little curved run round. Nobody with him from beginning to end. It's not like he gets picked up and a bit of clever movement he loses his man, or he's picked up and somebody comes in and makes a blocking move. There's none of that. He's literally totally unmarked, jogs round to the front stick, still unmarked, free header. Great header, but completely unmarked from beginning to end. And that was sort of symptomatic of the crap To Plymouth then, one of the longest trips at season, and what's our record away at Plymouth like? Let's have a look last season. 3-0, 3-0. Oh, absolutely terrible, so that's one to look forward to. Disappointed because with 19 games unbeaten at home, fantastic record, to give it up in that manner. We're going to lose games this season. Listen, we've lost 2-0. There's going to be more 2-0 defeats this season. That's football. Don't mind that. It happens sometimes. Or a tight game, or crap referee falls for the dive or whatever and gives a penalty. We will lose games for various reasons this season. But this, when you lose and it's like that, disjointed, no snap, no tenacity, not winning first ball, not winning second ball, no desire, bit of mardiness sneaking in, you know, a bit of passing sloppy. If you're going to pass it quick, ping the pass, don't half-assed. Really poor performance. I mean, they won't need telling it's poor. I mean, because if you're a player and you're getting showered after the game and then you look in it mirror, you know when you've had a shit game. They'll not need telling. But bleeding hellfire. It's terrible performance. And right through the team, goalkeeper, short passes out from back. Hequay, who I like, he's been well off it today. McGuinness were average and he gets hooked. I go for Bambi. Byers, hit and missed, did a few little, he had a shot blocked to one bit, but Bannon has a 5-10 minute spell. Gregory keeps falling over. I don't know what boots he's wearing. Windass will have its show, but not really getting any service. And genuinely, I've only really seen Palmer, who's made any ground up today. Probably made 3 or 4 30-yard runs. Not seen anyone else doing that. Johnson's had a very slow start to the season. A very slow start. He had a very slow start to last season. But then come sort of February, March, played himself into a blinding bit of form, and it seemed to be like an assist or a goal every other week. He's got to get back to that, because at minute he's just looking like somebody going through motions. Could only presume Brown and James aren't doing enough to push him for that spot in training, because yes, leave a player in, they can play the way into form like he did last season, but when there's no signs of him playing the way into form, eventually eyes are going to start falling on him. And sometimes I think you're best taking him out at firing line, because if them performances continue like that, I think folks are going to start saying something, and restless crowd at Hillsborough, and rightly so, because we've assembled a good squad. I've probably not spent much money in terms of fees, but in terms of wages, I presume we're paying up there with best in division. A squad on paper that you'd say, yeah, top 2. And I know it's early days, and let's see where we are after 10 games and 20 games, and see where we are at Christmas. But that is a very, very disjointed performance. And the levels were low. Quality on ball weren't good. Quality off the ball was really poor. Not right side at man. Sticking an half-assed leg out. Just a poor performance. Hard to watch. And fair play to Dingles, because they come with a game plan. Their manager executed it well. The players executed it well. That Thomas with a pain in the arse. Yeah, God, man at match. I thought McGuinness were probably the least offensive to me today. Palmer at least put a bit of a shift in. Man at match. I tell you what, I'm probably going to go for the Dingle, and I mean that. I'll probably go for that Connell. I thought he was a right busy bastard in middle of the park. Always available, always ratting, getting a foot in. You know, after him and that Thomas caused a lot of problems. And it sort of gets me to thinking, I keep saying to myself, we've got best squad in division, us, best squad in division. But I'm basing that on the fact that I know the players that we've got in our team. And opposition, I don't really know much about them. Not like I would have done when I was a kid and I was obsessive. So these teams turn up and I don't really know much about their players other than skim reading and highlights I might watch. Have we got best squad? On paper, but it's not played on paper, is it? Anyway, fair play to Dingles, I think you've got to say. Fully deserved, it should have been 3 or 4. And if we play like that against Plymouth, it'll be the same again, because I mean they're becoming a bit of a bogey side for us anyway, so really got to up that. Really got to up it. But what does he change? Clearly we've got a way of playing, clearly this is the system, but a few worrying signs today for me, honestly, a few worrying signs. We looked a little bit fatigued at this stage. Everything was I know to win a game you need 9 out of 10 players to be on it. In this division, you can't afford 3 or 4 players to have an off day. Can't afford it. Today, I would say 9 or 10 players had an off day. You hope that's a one-off, but I'm sorry, I try and usually find a positive, but I can't today. It was just a really abject display, a second gear, uncoordinated, sloppy display, and an hard watch, a very hard watch. Like I said, Plymouth to come. Fucking hell. I'd like to see Smith start next game at centre forward, just something different. Give us a plan B. In fact, never mind that, adjust plan A. Get it in, mixer. Get people in and around him. Let's do to other teams what they're going to be doing to us, because these weren't afraid to get it in. Tough game to watch. Dynamism in middle of the park, you know, I'm looking at that today, very milky. Looking at Delibishiro and thinking, please, at least he's built, at least he'll barge people off ball. They're walking through us today. This was going to be a short video, but I'm just so frustrated. And it ruins your weekend, doesn't it? Really. I mean, I'm trying to think of any positives from today at all. And only one I can think of is that, you know, my decking is prepped and probably ready for the second coat. So that's about best we've got. Very, very poor.